So now we go to the first of the 4 chapters that take those things that we've been talking about and implement them right into the real world. The first one is chapter 1, and that's government. And they say, of the 4 areas of investigation and changes that we'll now start with, the first area of investigation is our government. What is government? That's the first question. What is government? What is its tasks or duties? Where does it get its power? These are all questions that we've been programmed to avoid. It is politics, and everybody knows that you don't discuss politics if you're smart. Well, we do. We are going to discuss more than politics. What is government? What is its tasks or duties? Where does it get its power? First thing they say is, and of course you know this, the government is a bureaucracy. Because it's a bureaucracy, it must be treated the same as any other bureaucracy. It needs clear tasks to perform. It needs to perform those tasks in an efficient and cost-saving manner, or we need to make cuts. I remember what they were talking about. Cut the head of the beast. Find out who's making the mistakes, find out who's dragging their feet, find out who's not making the right decisions, get rid of them. It's always, they're white-collar people that wear ties and suits, so they gotta be. No, they're just people. They can be fired just like your plumber or your fast food server. They can be fired. If they're fired because they're not doing what you want, they'll go find a job somewhere else, and they're smart. They'll become productive. They'll start doing what it is that you want done instead of getting in the way, if you will. And so they say cut. That's the control of the beast bureaucracy. That's what they were talking about. Now we're down into the real world of government, and they're saying, if you don't get what it is that you've laid out that they have to do, cut, fire, get rid of, find somebody else that can do it. With that control, we give it its power, and we can take that power away. Now there's a concept we all believe, but we don't practice. Why not? Because we know that the government will get us if we step out of line. What is this? The government you own that serves you will get you if you try to get even a little control back? And they say, sadly, it's true. The beast of burden, government, was sent to do a task with no real guidelines and no expected outcome. Now you think that we have laid out tasks and we have expected guidelines, but it's not true. Basically, government simply, in the symbology they use, is there's a dike. The dike keeps the city from flooding. All they do is hire people to put their things in the holes in the dike. They don't have the outcome that you should have said, which is rebuild the dike. Stop plugging the holes and start rebuilding the dike. I mean, come on, people. So there you are. That's what you have. You have a government that has no guidelines, and that's one of the rules that you can't have. You've got to have a guideline so that you know what to do if they don't get there. If you don't tell them where they got to go, how are you going to know if they get there? And all that sounds stupid, but it's true. And advertisement and government officials and everybody is telling you, no, we have to plug this hole or the whole town's going to flood. Come on. Replace the dike. Start at one end and start replacing the dike. Start fixing things. It's a lot cheaper than hiring people to stand there 40 hours a week plugging a hole in the dike. Okay. The outcome that we kind of expect from the government now is to take care of us as a good parent would, and that's the worst thing you can possibly ask a bureaucracy to do, because, as we said before, that they don't have your best interests at heart when they get to be a certain size. And believe me, the government is way past that size. The beast government did what all living things do with no direction. It grew and propagated and grew and propagated and grew and propagated. Then, when it was big enough, it began to change its goals and duties. It removed itself from your control. Now you serve it. Now you serve the government. Okay, that should make you understand better where you are in relation to your government. Do your government officials treat you like you were the boss, or the other way around? The answer should verify what we are saying. Does your government give you a good value for the dollar? Does it do the job efficiently in a cost-saving manner? The answer to those questions should verify what we are saying. Do you know how much you pay to finance those things the government has decided it must do? And here they very emphatically say, no, you don't. You don't have a clue. And if you did, there would be an immediate revolt. And as they said already many times, we don't want that, and there is a legal, proper method to accomplish a change when it is decided what the change should be. A revolt with nothing to take its place is the very thing we are now trying to prevent. Let me say that again. That's what they said. A revolt with nothing to take its place is the very thing we are now trying to prevent. Why do you think? Do you understand that? See, if you stretch it out and see where it's going, what are they saying? What is a revolt with nothing to take its place? It's chaos. It's where everybody gets killed and the economy goes down the hill and nobody's got food, and on it goes. Absolutely nothing to your benefit. Absolutely nothing for you, except the people that want to kill, the people that are angry and want to get even. If you don't count them, none of you, no human being in the United States is going to come out not better. If they come out alive, it's going to be amazing. If they come out starving to death and barely surviving, that would be the expected result. Why do you think that they don't want a revolt? They're saying we can do this with the government the way it is, inside the laws, without breaking any law at all. We can do exactly what it is that they're asking you to do. And with that accomplished, we will then show you how to get it in a proper and legal way. Then, as you see that you can gain control of the beast, and only then, we will show you how to find out the truth of how much you pay to support this government. So, they're not going to talk about what it costs. They don't want you to know that because they don't want to revolt. But they will. Toward the end, when you understand what it is that you can do, they will. They'll tell you. They'll tell you to find out what it costs you to have the things done that are being done, and it's insane. Okay, so let's go back then. What should a government do? Well, just what should we be asking the government to do for us when we learn how to regain control? And in other words, we have to have a plan. This is what they're saying. What should a government do? A government should make our lives safe. A government must create and enforce a uniform order. A government must guarantee the maximum amount of freedom for each citizen within the requirements of the first two, which are order and safety. Government must complete those projects that are too large for us to do in any other manner. And they stop. There's nothing else there. That's what a government should be doing. A government, well, okay, the military, government will make us safe. Okay, we got that. The police, yeah, it create uniform order. We got that. Government must guarantee a maximum amount of freedom for each citizen within the requirements of that order. That they're not doing very, very good there, but that's a good requirement. And the government must complete projects that are just too large for us to do any other way. Okay, and that's all. That's see, those are broad fields, but if you get to the point where somebody says, should we be doing this? Does it fit into one of the four categories? If it doesn't, don't do it. Do it another way. So they go on. Those are broad needs that the government must address itself to. And while the government is seeing to those broad needs, we will always remember that government is a bureaucracy and as such must be treated as all other bureaucracies. It must be given specific goals and duties to accomplish. If we fail that task, we will get the inevitable results received when a beast is free to make its own rules. The beast will become a cancer which can threaten to destroy the entire body of this country. Now, they gave that information back in 1997, and as you can see right now, the beast is destroying the country. They are a cancer. So the prognostication, what they said was going to happen, is happening right now. So then they go on. At this point, we must interject a disclaimer. The change in our society being now suggested is a change in total concept. Each part affects another part, and only when taken as a whole can it work. If the laws aren't changed, then there is no use in changing the government processes. One greatly affects the other. If the education system isn't changed, then there's no sense in changing the laws and so on. The point? Before you make any judgment on this part of the work, you must open your mind and keep it open until you've read the entire content of Book 4. Then and only then will you be able to see the whole. Then and only then will you be able to see how it can work. To read part and come to the conclusion that it won't work is exactly correct. You're right. It won't work. No part will work if it stands alone, and all the parts remain as they are now. We do not expect you to see how it will work until you see the whole picture and how each part changes the next. And you notice that they don't they don't extrapolate. They don't go down the line and show you what's going to happen here and what's going to happen there. And so I kind of do. You know, I say, yeah, there's a change here, but look what happens down the line. Look what happens. Look what happens when you get rid of the game players in welfare. All of a sudden, not only do you not have to pay them that huge amount of money, but they have to go find a job that pays them for doing something, and they're bright people. They're going to do, they're going to absolutely benefit you, and they didn't say anything about that. I did. They didn't say that those people are going to have to, go to work finding a job that they get paid that you want. And they're smart, and they'll do things that really are beneficial to you. That's part that they didn't say, that you don't see until you get a picture of the whole thing. So then they say, that being so, if you aren't willing to read the whole of Book 4, you should stop right here. To this point, you can see how those of Dominion accomplish their work, and how the intelligence schemes are played, and how bureaucracy works and how it might be controlled in general terms. You have seen from another point of view how the do-gooders mess things up here, and perhaps you can figure out the rest on your own. Those who would be willing to see the whole, open your mind, make no judgments, and read to the end. So they're saying, stop. If you're not going to keep your mind open all the way to the end, just stop right here. You've got enough.